Greetings and welcome to Teaching Tips and Thoughts. In this discussion, I am going to talk about captioning and the captioning that I've been doing using Buzz Captions recently. Now, of course, we all know that captioning is very important. It's certainly a required accessibility for certain students who need the captions on the videos. But many students find them useful, even if they don't have to use them, just depending on when they're trying to watch the videos, what other distractions might be around, allowing them to see what is going on. So very accurate captions are important. Now, we've used various captioning resources in the past, and they've had varying levels of accuracy. I've used some that took forever to caption and did horrible quality, and others that have done pretty decently. Now, typically right now, captioning is done through YouTube. And YouTube does a decent job in terms of the accuracy from my experience. But what bothers me with it is that it's one giant sentence. There is no punctuation and no capitalization. So while it may do a decent job at getting the words correct, it really doesn't do that, which to me makes it a lot harder to read. So I've been looking at other options, and in the past we had been using Otter AI, and I'd been using that regularly for a couple of years. But Hack decided to discontinue that in March of 2024. So I started my search for another resource. Many of them were quite expensive, and I really didn't want to be spending hundreds of dollars a year for a way to caption. If it came down to that, I would have gone back to YouTube and just dealt with my issues with it. However, what I found was an app for the Mac. That's a $10 app that was called Buzz Captions, and it was very inexpensive. It's a $10 one-time purchase, so you do have to purchase it, but it had very high accuracy. Now, there's also apparently, and I have not explored this, but a free version that is available that will run on Windows and Mac systems. I have not explored that because if you installed that, you then had to fully uninstall it to be able to use the app. And the app was just integrated very well into the Mac environment. So I actually started using this a little while before we ceased work with Otter. And I found it to be extremely accurate, 98% or more. I haven't done a statistical study of it, but it just feels like it's really accurate. I can caption a 5-minute video, and sometimes I'll have to do a couple of minor edits. Other times it's perfect as it is. And that's just how accurate this is. Now, as an example, what I took is a list of 20 astronomers. So I read off a list of 20 astronomer names because names can be difficult for the systems to get to see how accurate it would do it. Well, here are those astronomers on the left hand side. So I tried to pick a mixture of names that I thought it should get, some very common names, things like Carl Sagan or Edwin Hubble, that I expected that it would get quite well. And I tried to put some other ones with some very interesting names that were different cultures, that to see how well it would be able to pick them up. And this is the example that I ran. And what we see is that it did a pretty decent job. It missed Aryabhata, the Indian name there. Others that it did not do very well, Eratosthenes, it did not do well on. And it also pretty much the rest it got right or very close to right. Yes, it didn't quite get Ptolemy right. And there's some interesting spellings in some of them. Nicholas, it did not spell the way Copernicus is spelled. Christian Huygens is missing one of the A's. We also had Edmund Halley, which was spelled differently. So there's a few that it didn't do quite as well. It also got one of the Arab astronomers, Ibn al-Haytham, and the only thing it missed was it switched what should have been an A to an I. So overall, really accurate, especially for getting some names that could be rather unusual and difficult to record. Now, the Buzz has different levels of settings that you can do. This captioning took it about less than a minute for it to run through the captions. I ran the same list through the higher level of captioning, the most detailed, just to see what it would give me. And it did a lot better. We'll note that it still didn't get Aryabhata, But that was really it. It now gets Eratosthenes that it did not get properly before. It's still missing some of the unusual spelling, such as Christian Huygens, Edmund Halley. It didn't get those correct, but it actually fixed Ibn al-Haytham now and got that correct. So in reality, if the highest level, although it did take a lot longer to run through this captioning, taking it nearly 5 minutes to capture a file, to caption a file that was less than a minute long, it still got extremely high accuracy, which is nice. And it does export directly into an SRT file that you can then upload to YouTube. And it does give, again, it gives the capitals and the punctuation, which to me make it easier when I'm trying to follow along with a video rather than just a stream of words. Now, the couple of issues that I have with it is, first of all, that the editing has to be done on YouTube. There is an editor within it, but I think there seems to be a glitch in it, at least in the current version, that will not let me do the edits within the captioning app. Also, I have to force close the app if I want to restart the computer. It'll keep me from doing that. So a couple of minor things, but overall, in terms of captioning, I've been using this regularly and it's really worked quite well. So that concludes this discussion of captioning with Buzz Captions. We'll be back again next time for another teaching tip and thought. So until then, have a great day, and I will see you next time.